One and all, myself Pallavi Tripathi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'm again here with another topic related with cell biology only. And last video I have discussed about cytoskeleton. Today I'm going to let you know about the cell wall. Although cell wall is absent in animals, है ना, but present in plants, fungi, as well as some protists, as well as bacteria also. But today we are going to focus here only on the plant cell wall. We will see its composition, different layers, as well as we are also going to just see the function. So yes, of course, it's a rigid structure, protective as well as supportive, and it is present outside the plasma membrane. So it gives a definite shape, strength as well as protection. Along with that, it is also responsible for the cell expansion during the growth of a particular cell. So let me tell you about the different layers of cell. है ना, primary cell wall is there, secondary cell wall is there, middle lamella is there. So one by one we will just see the different types as well as its function. So first of all, I just have told you about primary cell wall, then comes the secondary cell wall and the middle lamella. Middle lamella. So in case of primary cell wall, this is thin and as well as flexible and found in a young growing cell, in young growing cells. Whereas the secondary cell wall, this is thick, rigid, deposited inside primary, है ना, inside primary after growth, after cell growth, inside primary. And this is rich in pectin. This metal lamella is rich in pectin, and this is responsible for cementing, or also known as cementing layer, cementing of these primary and secondary. So this is also known as cementing layer. If we talk of function, this primary cell wall allows the expansion at the time of the cell growth. It allows expansion. This secondary is responsible for strength. It provides protection, है ना. Then this particular layer prevents cell elongation. So these are the types, although I will let you know in detail. So here are the some of the function of cell wall. You can just see it is responsible for transport of material, provide a definite shape, responsible for cell enlargement. Along with that, it acts as a shield or protect the internal organs from any type of shock, external shock. Along with that, if we talk of the permeability, so the cell wall is highly permeable to water, है ना, ions and small molecules. So one more very important thing, that this cell wall is na non-living structure. This is not at all a living, this is non-living structure. So we are going to just see the another subtopic, that is the structural components of cell wall. So you can just see here the four components. First is cellulose microfibril, second is matrix polysaccharide, In matrix polysaccharide, we are going to discuss about the hemicellulose, pectin and all these. Then the third is lignin. Lignin is absent in case of a primary, it is present in secondary. Then the structural protein, two types, expansine as well as extensine. So we will see here, you can just see now this diagram, this image you can just see here. This is the middle lamella that is rich in pectin and responsible for cementing the primary and secondary. You can just see here the primary wall and how this pectin is, this primary wall is cellulose microfibril, how they are arranged, orientation you can just see. Then this is particularly the plasma membrane. Here in the growing cell, only primary cell wall is observed, but what basically happens in mature secondary cell wall start forming inside the primary. So you can just see here the different layer of secondary cell wall, S1, S7, S2 as well as the S3. So here you can just see a basic difference. This is of course flexible as well as expandable, this primary wall. This secondary is strong and rigid. This primary is high in pectin, yeah, you can say rich in pectin. This is rich in cellulose as well as one more thing is present, lignin. Lignin is present. This primary cell wall is particularly responsible for growth and expansion. This is responsible for strength, I already have mentioned. So one by one we will just see the structural components of cell wall. First is the cellulose microfibril. This is the major backbone of cell. If we talk of the orientation in primary cell wall, these cellulose microfibril are oriented in transverse manner. In secondary cell wall, it varies in different layer. In S1 and S3, it is helical, whereas in S2, it is vertical. So what basically these cellulose microfibril are, these are the linear polymer of glucose residue. Then you have to just keep in mind that here the linkage observed is beta 1,4, very important from competitive exam point of view. You can see here how they are arranged, a parallel arrangement is there, and these two microfibril means adjacent microfibril, adjacent chain, they are attached with a non-covalent bonding. So this is again an important point. This cellulose microfibril is synthesized by an enzyme known as cellulose synthase, and this they just, you can just see when they newly synthesized cellulose microfibril are formed, they are deposited in parallel. You can just see here the arrangement. So this much is about cellulose microfibril. Now we are moving towards the another structural component, that is the matrix polysaccharide. So this particular cellulose microfibril is embedded in matrix, so that matrix we are going to just see. First is the hemicellulose. This hemicellulose is cross-linking glycan, and this hemicellulose is highly branched polysaccharide. Some of the example of hemicellulose is mentioned here, that is the xyloglucan and arabinoglucan. And second is the pectin. This pectin contains the heterogeneous group of highly branched polysaccharide containing the galactouronic acid. This is also known as gel forming component. It just connect the cell wall, plant cell wall, means the primary and secondary, and basically responsible for maintaining the ion balance and make the cell porous also. Lignin, if we talk of lignin, that is absent in primary but present in secondary cell wall. So this is a phenolic polymer, three type of phenolic polymer, coniferyl, coumaryl, sinopyl. These are the types of particularly the phenolic polymer, and they belongs to the group monolignals, present in secondary cell wall. Then yes, of course, this is insoluble in water, but as well as organic solvent also, it is insoluble. It prevents the cell enlargement. That's the reason it is formed in mature cell. Once the primary cell wall formation takes place, after that only the secondary cell wall formation takes place. If we talk of the role of lignin, lignin is just well known for providing a mechanical support Along with that, it also prevent the attack of a pathogen. It acts as a barrier. You can just see here, this plays a very important role in pathology, है ना. Then comes the structural component. Not much is known about these structural protein, है ना. Still discoveries are to be made. Expansion and extension, you can just see here, as the name suggests, this helps in cell expandation, as well as this extension work in a pH dependent manner, and particularly responsible for stress relaxation of cell wall. Now coming towards the types, although we just have discussed, the main key point that is to be focused here is the composition. As let me tell you that cell wall composition varies, on which factor it depends. So it is particularly, you can say wall composition varies by species, है ना, as well as organ, in which organ we are talking of, as well as the which developmental stages we are studying or looking for. So on these criteria, the cell wall types vary. So first is the, or you can say, composition varies. So in case of primary cell wall, 25% cellulose, then the hemicellulose, pectin is there. As I already mentioned, pectin will be maximum in case of primary cell wall, and 1 to 8% will be the structural protein. Then further comes the secondary cell wall. So it is formed when the cell stops growing, है ना. You can say in the later phase of cell. Initially primary middle lamella is formed, further primary cell wall, and then the secondary cell wall. So when cell stops growing, this is more specialized in structure and function. This is quite thick, often layered. You can just see here the composition. Cellulose is 45%, hemicellulose is 20 to 30%. Here the cellulose is more, whereas in primary cell wall, pectin is more. So this cellulose and hemicellulose is impregnated with lignin. Then comes the middle lamella. It acts as a cementing layer rich in pectin or the calcium pectate. At the time of fruit ripening, this calcium pectate is dissolved. So this is complex with hydroxyproline rich glycoprotein. So this much about cell wall. One more thing, let me tell you about the particularly the layers of cell wall and how they are deposited during the origin, growth and differentiation of cell wall. So what basically happens during cell division, middle lamella is formed during cell division. This is the middle lamella. This is the middle lamella, and this is formed during cell division. Once the cell division is completed, primary cell wall is formed at the time of expansion. Once the expansion takes place, secondary cell wall is formed. After that, the layer of plasma membrane is there. So you can just see here how the arrangement is, how these layers are aligned with their time of deposition during the origin, growth as well as differentiation of cell wall. This middle lamella rich in pectin, and this is the first layer deposited. This is a point to remember. So this much for today. We will study plasmodesmata and the other type of cell wall in another lecture. Thank you for listening.